Hi everyone, and welcome to Web Piano Academy. If you're still struggling with note reading and want to improve your note reading skills, and if you're curious to know how these notes ended up being on lines, if you want to know more about the musical code we use to write music, then keep watching. Hello everyone, my name is Antonella Di Giulio and I'm a classical pianist and music theorist. In this video we are going to explore the way we write and read music. First, we are going to place the notation for music within the system of signs we use in the human society to communicate messages. Then we will explore how we came up with the idea of hanging circles on lines to represent sounds while adding one innovation after the other, and that over centuries. Last part of this video, I will show you how I teach note reading and how you can improve your note reading skills. A message is communicated in different ways. Most of the time in human society, if we want to communicate something and want others to understand us, we build a system of signs that follow specific conventional rules that are accepted and understood by a vast majority. For example, the system governing how we drive a car on the road is a system of signs. The way my coffee machine works is a system of signs. A map is a system of signs. And even the written language is a system of signs. Imagine a piece of music and the written score or sheet with all these signs on it. All the signs we call notes and all the symbols associated with musical notation are part of a complex system of signs. The signs used to indicate the pitches, the rhythmic value of the single notes, if these notes are soft or loud, how the notes are articulated, and so on. All these systems form a network of systems we use to codify and communicate a musical message. This network of systems did not appear overnight, but it evolved over the centuries according to whatever the musicians needed. Over the centuries, notes, sounds have been represented by letters, by numbers, or by symbols. The oldest sign of a kind of notation has been found in Babylonia, and we can date that around 1400 BC. The ancient Greek notation was represented by letters which were written above a text. But the real history of Western notation starts in medieval times when we started writing neumes or signs above text as a way to remember melodies better. So a neume was basically a sign which was indicating if the melody was going up, if the melody was going down. And he didn't have any direct relationship with a sound in itself, but with the contour of a melody. Later, because it was difficult to really kind of read a song or a piece of music just by reading these neumes, the neumes started going a little bit higher or a little bit lower. And they were a little bit displaced depending on how the melody was moving. This was helping a little bit, but it did not help much if you didn't know the melody. The next innovation was a line which was placed between the neumes to indicate a sort of a middle point. The first line was an F, which was usually in red, and then they added the second line, which was the C, which was usually in yellow, and in between we started finding then more lines to indicate the different notes. At one point, the yellow line and the red line disappeared to give space to a staff which was formed by just 4 lines. And instead of the yellow line or the red line, we started using letters. So the F for what we would call the bass clef today, which is a kind of a modified F, and a C for a C clef. Now let's go back for a moment to medieval times. Let's imagine that we are still using the F line, the C line, and the G line. And now let's add some other lines in between, and let's transform the letters into the signs we are more familiar with today. Now let's take a look only at the red line or at the F line, the line that we see with what we would define today as a bass clef or baritone clef. So now this clef tells us where the F is. As you see, I placed the note on the line, and that's my F. The note above the F will obviously be a G. The notes below the F, or below the F line, will obviously be an E. Now, if we would call each clef as F clef, C clef, or G clef, we can imagine how easy it would be to figure out where the notes are on the stuff. So if we have an F clef, no matter where the F clef is placed or is positioned, that line will be our F. The note above that line will be the G, and the note below the E. So if we take the C clef, the line on which the C clef is positioned, or kind of the line which is in the middle of the C clef, will be our C, and the note above that line would be the D. The note below that line would be the B, and so on. So if we take the G clef, we usually see the treble clef positioned on the second line, starting from below, but that line would be our G. But if we can assume that the treble clef could be on different lines, so the G will move wherever the G clef or the treble clef will be. If we imagine the stuff we use to write notes or to read notes as composed by clefs at the beginning that indicates us where the notes are, then it is easy to read all the notes. For example, in this example, I dotted the yellow line, like in the grand staff. We can imagine the grand staff as the dotted line, the C line as being in between, the treble clef above, and the bass clef on the bottom. I'm obviously missing quite a few lines, 3 lines on the bottom and 3 lines on the top, but these lines are the basics that will they will help me understand where the notes are. So I will find the G on the top and the F on the bottom, and all other notes are in between. And this is usually what we're used to see when we play the piano, the middle C in the middle and the yellow line. Do you see the dotted line here? And then the notes going up with the treble clef, and notes when the notes go down, we follow the bass clef. Do you see the red line and the blue line? These lines tell us where those 2 main notes are, the G and the F. I teach my students to read notes We first read the rhythm, and we have a video on this channel about how to read rhythm. And then I ask my students to distinguish the different notes and to name them on the paper. So this would be C, D, E, F, G, A, C, B, A, G, F. As you see, the F is on the bass line, on the line of the F clef. E, then I go up again, C, G, A, and down C, F, E. Once I know how to read these notes, then I will add rhythm reading and note reading all at the same time. Now I will show you how I do that. Now in this example, I count 4 on my fingers by really counting on the fingers while reading the rhythm. And we will read the rhythm first. So when I see the bar line, I will close the fingers and close my hand and start counting again on the fingers. 1, 2, 3, 4. So for example, I will have short, 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 bar line, close the hand, start counting again. Long, short, short, and count again. Long, short, short, close your hand, short, short, long. After that, I will read the name of the notes without the rhythm first. C, D, E, G, A, G, F, E, G, A, B, C, B. And now I will add all together, rhythm and note reading. So they will sound like that. C, D, E, G, A, G, F, E, G, A, B, C, B. If you're playing the piano, I will play these notes just with one finger on the keys by following the rhythm, and maybe just play the notes first and then the notes and the rhythm at the same time. Then after that, you can use your fingers and look at what kind of fingerings you need to use. But I will first try to really know the notes that are on the score before attempting to play that on the piano. I hope you had fun, and I'll see you in next video. Bye!